Hello, this is Jessica with On a Stack of Books, and today I wanted to reorganize my bookshelf. This is the most visible bookcase that I have. I have other bookcases throughout the house that are more tucked away, and so because I see these all the time, I do want to go through them and reorganize them. Some of them I've read, some of them I don't think I'm going to read, and I want to bring some of the other ones out so that I can see them. So I thought this would be a fun project that we could do together. And so these up here I have not read yet, but they're kind of out of sight, out of mind. They're up there. I can't really, you know, I'm nearsighted. I need glasses to see far away. So that up there is sort of like, there's books up there, but I can't really see them. So, you know, I'm going to shift stuff around and see, and we'll go through them, and I might get rid of some. I don't know. So, let's see what I got. Okay, so I'm just going to start. So, the Hunger Games series, read it, loved it. My daughter read the first one, and I thought she would totally blow through the whole thing, and she was just kind of eh. So I am holding on to it because it was good, and I think that she will eventually, but I am going to move it because I have read all of them, and I don't need to keep looking at them. To Kill a Mockingbird and Go Set a Watchman, read both of these. This was like my all-time favorite movie as a kid, and I didn't read the book until I was an adult. And I do have a Beet project that I want to do for this one, so I'll do a more proper book review. And then I had this, and then once I realized, and I only grabbed it because it was the same author, and I didn't realize that this was what it was. Timeline-wise, it goes after To Kill a Mockingbird, but there's a little bit of controversy over if it was like the original or not. One of my friends was like, you have to read this, it's amazing, you have to. I started, and I was a little, I don't know what I was expecting, but I mean, like, only a couple pages in. I will read it, but it did not grab me, so I will read it. The ladies rewrite the rules. I don't know if I'm going to move them. I have always wanted to read, I think it's Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And so this I found in a little free library, and, you know, Death on the Nile. So I haven't read it yet, but I definitely want to. This is part of The Gunslinger, which I have The Gunslinger somewhere, and I do want to put all my Stephen King together. The Dark Tower. Life of Pi, watched the movie first. I have not read the book yet. That was amazing. So this I definitely want to read. I can't remember which one I did read of hers, and it was like, it was okay. I don't know. Jodi Picoult. I have several of hers. I have read Handle with Care. That's the only one that I have read so far. And it was like emotionally devastating. So I think that's sort of her writing style. So I think when I'm in the mood to cry and be conflicted and all of that wonderful stuff, then I will pick up one of hers, because I have several, so I'll put all of them together. Lisa Kleypas. This is one of those romance. I like her style. It's really easy. This is one of my guilty pleasures. This is 2 novels in one, so they're going to be really short. Yeah, they're just fun to read. So where did I put it? I thought I brought it in here. Oh. It's how, where did I put it? how not to get, or how to be bitten, how to be eaten. And it's sort of a dark twist on Little Red Riding Hood. And this has like the wolf, and so Lisa Jackson, I like her stuff. They're fun, suspense thriller. There's usually a little romance thrown in there, but they're usually like dark, and I like her stuff. Rich People Problems, China Rich Girlfriend, they just look like fun reads. Have not read anything by Kevin Kwan. So we have one shelf cleared. I am going to vacuum and clean because that's part of the process. Okay, so look at that. Isn't that nice and clean? So we're going to start over with these stacks and some other new stacks that I have of all the stuff that I really want to read, I've been looking at. I really want to read it. And I'm going to organize it pretty, and then I'm going to show you what they are. So this Louise Erdrich. I got these in one of my Lori book hauls, and they just looked totally up my alley. The Beet Queen, The Round House, The Plague of Doves, and Love Medicine. All of them just sound beautiful and wonderful, and I'm really excited to read all of them. And I think I'm going to start with the Beet Queen. On a spring morning in 1932, young Carl and Mary Adair arrive by boxcar in Argus, North Dakota. After being orphaned in a most peculiar way, they seek refuge in the butcher's shop of their Aunt Fritzie and her husband, Pete. Ordinary Mary, who will cause a miracle, and seductive Carl, who lacks his sister's gift for survival, embark upon an exhilarating life journey crowded with colorful, unforgettable characters and marked by the extraordinary magic of natural events. It sounds lovely. So I've got these three, and so I'm going to organize them by author, and then sort of genre, I guess. So I'm going to put those together, and then I'm going to do anything that is sort of suspense. This is a funny, sad, and transcendent story of a young girl's growing up in an Appalachia that introduced a fresh, quirky new Southern voice. Appalachia. Rural Kentucky in the 1950s is not an easy place to grow up, and it's especially hard for 10-year-old Icy Sparks, an orphan who lives with her grandparents. Life becomes even more difficult for Icy when violent tics and uncontrollable cursing begin, symptoms brought on by a troubling affliction that goes undiagnosed until her adulthood. Icy's adolescence is marred by the humiliation of her illness, and its all too visible signs are the source of endless mystery and hilarity as everyone around her offers an opinion about what's troubling the girl. Eventually, Icy finds solace in the company of Miss Emily, an obese woman who knows what it's like to be an outcast in this tightly knit community. Narrated by a now-grown Icy, this novel shimmers with warmth and humor as it recounts a young girl's painful and poignant journey to womanhood and the many lives she touches and enriches along the way. And it's Icy Sparks. Some of these are just, you know, like life, and it's just these people's stories. So those ones I think I'm going to put in one section, and then I've read Ruth Ware before, you know, suspense, thriller, that kind of stuff I'm going to put in another section. This just looks funny, Family Trust, because of my job and what I do. You know, Kathy Wang, I feel like I have another one of her books somewhere, but I don't know, I just grabbed it basically because, you know, family dynamics, family trust, the play on words, I think there's a trust involved. A bittersweet rumination on what we owe our families and a sharp-eyed look at Silicon Valley's culture of excess. Family Trust is a dryly cynical satire of the American dream. So for those of you that don't know, a trust is a document like a will that gives you instructions on what you want your money, how you want your money to be paid, who is to manage the trust, and how it's to be distributed. So I think it's, you know, one of those. So I think this would be really funny, and I will put it with the humor section. We'll create a humor section. I don't think it's going to be large, but this one, I think our book club, when we were trying to look up a funny book, we were trying to find something just to break up the darkness. This was listed as a funny, humorous book. So I guess we'll stick that in the funny category. Okay, I'm starting to make a Stephen King pile. Love Hypothesis. We'll make a love category as well. We need to talk about Kevin. I picked this up in a thrift store, and it is a story about a mother and her child Kevin, and I guess the either the school calls her or they reach out, like they want to talk about Kevin, they need to talk to her about Kevin, and then so this is about like a school shooting, I think leading up to and after. So like I want to read it, but I don't want to read it, and so I have it. It's there. At some point it'll be we'll see, I don't know. Little Big Lies. So I've got Jodi Picoult. I'm going to start that pile. Wish You Were Here, My Sister's Keeper, the only one of hers that I have read so far, because I feel like I pulled one of her books off, and I think I already talked about it. I did. Where is it? Yeah, Vanishing X. So I knew I had some, and I think I have more too, somewhere else. So we'll find those. Fanny Flagg. Love these stories. These will be romance, Death on the Nile. Ooh, Stephen King. I think Kristen Hanna. I think this is a romance. Yep, and I don't know. All right, these are like suspense thriller. Eve, I really want to read this. This is the same author that wrote The Shack, and I love The Shack. When a shipping container washes ashore on an island between our world and the next, John the Collector finds a young woman inside, broken, frozen, and barely alive. With the aid of healers and scholars, John oversees her recovery and soon discovers that her genetic code connects her to every known race. No one would guess what her survival will mean. no one but Eve, mother of the living, who calls her daughter and invites her to witness the truth about her story, indeed the truth about us all. Eve is a bold, unprecedented exploration of the creation narrative, true to the original texts and centuries of scholarship, yet with breathtaking discoveries that challenge traditional beliefs about who we are and how we're made. As the shack awakened readers to a personal, non-religious understanding of God, Eve will free us from faulty interpretations that have corrupted human relationships since the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden. Eve opens a refreshing conversation about the equality of men and women within the context of our beginnings, helping us see each other as our Creator does, complete, unique, and not constrained by cultural rules or limitations. Thoroughly researched and exquisitely written, Eve is a masterpiece that will inspire readers for generations to come. I definitely want to read that. The Help, I definitely want to read. The Housekeepers. It's the biggest party of the season and the most spectacular heist of the century. Mrs. King is no ordinary housekeeper. Born into a world of con artists and thieves, she made herself respectable, running the grandest home in Mayfair. The place is packed with treasures, a glittering symbol of wealth and influence, but dark secrets lurk in the shadows. When Mrs. King is suddenly dismissed from her position, she recruits an eclectic group of women to join her in revenge. A black market queen out to settle her scores, an actress desperate for a magnificent part, a seamstress dreaming of a better life, and Mrs. King's predecessor with her own desire for vengeance. Their plan? On the night of the house's highly anticipated costume ball, set to be the most illustrious of the year, they will rob it of its every possession right under the noses of the distinguished guests and their elusive heiress host. But there's one thing. Mrs. King wants, even more than money, the truth, and she'll risk anything to get it. Sounds fun. Okay. Oops. Where's my dark and I had that pile. Where was it? I guess it's here. Okay. Good Girl, The Orphan's Tale, Gone Girl, I Capture the Castle, More Than Enough, A Millennial Becoming. Kite Runner, I definitely want to read it. Here is another Harlan Coben Shelter. For him, I have read The Boy from the Woods and The Match. They go together. It's a sequel. Milkman, The Host. This is the same author as Twilight. The Song of Achilles. I want to read this. I think it's a romance. If I just had to guess, I would say historical fiction, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't know. I have to look it up. I can't remember. Circus Galacticus. I have to look this one up again. I can't remember. The Yeast Connection. I will put this with my food and nutrition books. The Time Traveler's Wife. The Second Becoming of Lucy Hatch. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. Where'd you go, Bernadette? He's very funny. I know he's funny. And I read Lamb from him, and it was hilarious. This is Christopher Moore, and this is Bloodsucking Fiends. It's a love story, so we're going to put it with the love category. But he's very funny. I enjoy his stuff. The library book. Sometimes I'm just a sucker for a cover, and I really like it. And it's about a library book. I was like, okay. Educated. This one sounds very, very interesting. Tara Westover was 17 the first time she set foot in a classroom. Born to survivalists in the mountains of in the mountains of Idaho, she prepared for the end of the world by stockpiling home-canned peaches and sleeping with her head for the hills bag. In the summer, she stewed herbs for her mother, a midwife and a healer, and in the winter, she salvaged metal in her father's junkyard. Her father distrusted the medical establishment, so Tara never saw a doctor or nurse. Gashes and concussions, even burns from explosions, were all treated at home with herbalism. The family was so isolated from mainstream society that there was no one to ensure the children received an education and no one to intervene when an older brother became violent. When another brother got himself into college and came back with news of the world beyond the mountain, Tara decided to try a new kind of life. She taught herself enough mathematics, grammar, and science to take the ACT and was admitted to Brigham Young University. There she studied psychology, politics, philosophy, and history, learning for the first time about pivotal world events like the Holocaust and the Civil Rights Movement. Her quest for knowledge transformed her, taking her over oceans and across continents to Harvard and to Cambridge University. Only then would she wonder if she'd traveled too far, if there was still a way home. Educated is an account of the struggle for self-invention. It is a tale of fierce family loyalty and of the grief that comes of severing one's closest ties. With the acute insight that distinguishes all great writers, Westover has created a universal coming-of-age story that gets to the heart of what an education is and what it offers. The perspective to see one's life through new eyes and the will to change it. So that one sounds very interesting. The Night She Disappeared. These are all like the thriller. They're just really fun. The Girl from Widow Hills. Velvet Was the Night. Preston and Child, Bloodless. So I love Preston and Child. I have a whole collection up at the top there. It started with Relic and then Reliquary, and I've read several of his books. Cabinet of Curiosities. I can't remember all of the names, but I've read lots of them, and I have more, and he's written a lot, and they're wonderful. So I will be reading that. The Silence of the Lambs. Obviously, I've seen the movie first. Maybe not obviously. I have seen the movie first. I do plan on reading it. This just looks so creepy. I found this in my little free library. Somebody put it there for me, but I want to read it. And my daughter saw it and she was like, oh, I want to read it. So really creepy, but really short. So I'm going to put that in the spooky category. Secrets Typed in Blood. This is a lovely book. I started rereading it. I read it last year and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it. It is The Power of Now. It is taking the emotion out of how we react to things, how we see things, looking at it without that emotion. Oh, that was my motion light. Emotion. But it's wonderful and it's lovely and it's a very good read. I highly recommend it. Okay. All right. I grabbed this for my daughter. I want to read it with her. The author that wrote Hatchet, and this was a wonderful story. So this is The Winter Room. We'll read that at some point. These are like historical fiction. I haven't really looked that much at them, but they really looked good. The Dying Games. You can see I like the darker. The New Wilderness. Let's see. The Cellar. That's creepy. This is the back, okay. Oh, so he says, Lily, my stomach dropped as a tall, dark man stepped into view. Had he been hiding between the trees? No, sorry, gulping. I took a step back. I'm not Lily. He shook his head, a satisfied grin on his face. No, you are Lily. I'm Summer. You have the wrong person. You utter freak. I could hear my pulse crashing in my ears. How stupid to give him my real name. He continued to stare at me, smiling. It made me feel sick. You are Lily, he repeated. Oh. Before I could blink, he threw his arms forward and grabbed me. I tried to shout, but he clasped his hand over my mouth, muffling my screams. My heart raced. I'm going to die. For months, Summer is trapped in a cellar with the man who took her and 3 other girls, Rose, Poppy, and Violet. His perfect, pure flowers, his family. But flowers can't survive long, cut off from the sun, and time is running out. Oh, that's so creepy. Lucy Yai Yi is not a romantic. So I'm going to put this in the romance category. Okay, this is the second book in the City of Ember series. I was reading it with my daughter. We got a little bit into it, and then we got another book for some reason, and she started reading something else. We never finished it. We will. This is where it ends. This is also about school violence, so, you know, I'm not, like, jumping at reading it, but at some point I probably will. Dogwood. I just recently picked these up when I took some books to a little free library. The Coven looks nice and creepy. Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. This is almost like a Asian folklore, or and young Minley lives in the valley of Fruitless Mountain, where she and her parents spend their days working hard in the fields. At night, Minley listens to her father's tales about the old man of the moon, who knows the answers to everything. Minley sets out on a quest to find the old man of the moon. He will know how she can bring good fortune to her family. Along the way, she meets many magical friends, including a talking fish, a powerful king, and a dragon who can't fly. So it looked really sweet. So this one I got How to Be Eaten, and it is a dark twist on Little Red Riding Hood. And then this one, they're not by the same author, and they are not the same, but it just gives me that whole vibe. We've got this wolf down here and the queen, and like, so yeah, I like it. It's dark. And Second Nature by Michael Pollan. I love his books. I love his books. I love his books. So this one is talking about gardening, specifically small scale gardens, your front yard, your backyard, and what those can look like. But I just love reading his books. But you definitely have to be in the right frame of mind. They're a meandering path, and they're just very relaxing, very calm, very nice, very homey, very cozy, and he's funny. So I need to finish this one. I have that awful habit of reading a book and then jumping to another book and jumping to another book, and then I do end up circling back and finishing it, but so I need to do that. Cloud Cuckoo Land. I had this and it looked very good, and then I did see I think it's The Joy of Books, the YouTuber. She highly recommended this, and so then it kind of bumped up on my list because I got it at a thrift store and I really didn't know, so she highly recommended that one. I also, when I got this one, Honey Farm, and I got The New Wilderness. So I'm sort of, right now it's spring and I want to read more gardening, planting, outside books. So maybe a little bit lighter than all my dark and creepy stuff. So we're gonna categorize it now. Okay, so here's the other thing. Some of these books I have to strategically leave them out so my daughter sees them and she picks them up and starts reading them, and I'm not forcing her to read them. I do that. I do that very much on purpose. It fell. Okay. This is romance. All right. So I'm thinking these ones I might stick out there for her to stumble upon. Of our creepy. Here's another. They won't fit there, will they? Nope. I made that too. So John Green. I haven't read these ones. I read Looking for Alaska. That was different. But I do plan on reading those. Let me see. Hold on, because I forgot I have books out that I wanted to bring in. So let me get those. At the end of the world. William Faulkner, As I Lay Dying. Alright, so I'm gonna tackle the books up there. Let's see. Daniel Steele, One Day at a Time. I don't think I'm gonna read it. I'll be honest. So these are all Lisa Jackson. I will read these. There's some other Nora Roberts, Midnight Fear, but they're like thriller romance. Harlan Coben, and so I'm going to put some other ones up here. These are all my Preston child, Lincoln child, Douglas Preston, Lincoln child. And then there's some other, these ones. That is my Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, and Fountainhead. So Atlas Shrugged is one of those books that I have been wanting to read. My parents had the book when I was a kid, and so I've always been fascinated by it. And so it's up there. I want to read it. It's a big book. One day. Okay, can I sit on it? I can sit on it. Okay. So these were up there. I haven't looked at them in a while. And this is Robin Cook Marker. My friend gave this to me, and I do believe it is some sort of thriller mystery about genetic marker, something to that effect. The Complete Poetry of Edgar Allan Poe. Paige Tyler, Wolf Untamed. This is like one of those romance thriller. There's a killer on the loose, but the detective is cute. It's one of those. Cat and Mouse, James Patterson. I read one James Patterson, The Quickie. It was very good, very fast paced, so I will read that. I love this cover. Hard cold winter. That just like pulls me right in. It looks cozy, creepy. I love it. Yep. Lisa Gardner, The Survivors Club. Also, look, the last. My neighbor gave me this, The Cuban Affair. It is a romance, and we've swapped books. She's amazing. She's bilingual. She reads in Spanish and in English, but she reads much slower in the English because Spanish is her first language. So I've given her many, many books, and so she wanted me to try this one, so I still have to read it. What I want to put up is, what I want to add Up there is the Stephen King. So I've got The Gunslinger is Dark Tower 1. The Drawing of 3 is The Dark Tower 2. And then just The Dark Tower is part of The Gunslinger. I'm a little confused because, okay, but they go together. I'm not sure. Reading the Clan of the Cave Bear series. I read the first one just recently, and I loved it as much as I did the first time. The second book, I'm almost done with it, and I love it, but I love Ayla. I love her parts. This is the book where, you know, we are introduced to Jean Auel, and then they meet, and he's annoying me this time around. I think when I was much younger, I was like, oh, but I'm like, he's just screwing every woman he can. Doesn't understand when a woman isn't interested in him. He's just like, oh yeah, everybody wants me all the time, and everybody wants me for their first rites, which is like, you know, deflowering a girl, taking her virginity in a nice way, in a gentle way. But he's like, yeah, that's me. And it's not putting him in the same light that I remember reading, and I don't remember being like, oh gosh, he sounds amazing. I just remember him being so perfect for her, and I just remember their connection and how they were together, and he was so sweet and loving to her, and he is, but like leading up to him meeting her, I'm just like, oh, every time we got to his section, you know, because they'll do like her and then him, and I'm like, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to read it, I don't want to know. It got really stupid after a while. So still love her. I want a horse and a cave lion, and I know what's coming, and you know, so her with her animals, and all of that, like, I want that. He's okay. He's okay. So here is our spooky thriller section. And then we've got a mix of some thriller and different sort of what I want to read in the near future. I'm thinking next shelf. No real rhyme or reason to some of these. This is my funny category, humorous, and next one, some romance. Shelf. Can get a better, there we go. These are my classics. The upper books, Lisa Jackson, Harlan Coben. Here is our Preston child. This is what started it, Relic and Reliquary. Wonderful. Some Ayn Rand down there, Silence of the Lambs, and then we've got Stephen King and some other random. I love it. I love it. It's all organized, and these are all my TBRs. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I will be reading.